The two biggest investments you can make in your life is number one, yourself, and number two is in your children. You are your biggest asset, but I also want to mention that your children are equally as big of an asset, or maybe even bigger than yourself. Why is this a topic of discussion? It's a topic of discussion because as a parent, what I've learned is that not a lot of people in general just pay attention to not only the people that's important in their life, but they don't listen to their children. Now, I know people may be like, well, I got to focus on myself in order to become better. And I do think that's true as well. If you aren't straight, then your children will never be. But why shouldn't we try harder so that they got a fair chance? I believe strongly in this because when I look at my son, I see greatness. I see something special. I see something in him that he may not even see in himself. And we have to take note of that. How many of us would have benefited if our parents just said, you can do anything you set your mind to? Your parents are your first superheroes. And I think, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out here, especially who have been through so much trauma in their life, where they needed their parents or some sort of manly or womanly figure in their life to be able to guide them in the right direction. A lot of us are diminishing in talent because your parent told you you couldn't be successful. They say they're there for you, but yet they have this perspective of something that you're supposed to be, instead of looking at the person within. A lot of times we are telling people what we want out of each other, really. But yet people just don't listen. Why is that? Why do we take an old lens of a person and apply it to their whole life when in reality, you can't be the same person you was when you were 5 versus 25. So many people that I see wanted to be something better, and people just needed the confidence. You know, maybe you wanted to be a doctor, but somebody told you, well, it's going to take years of schooling. It's the negative talk that I don't understand that people have towards each other when it comes to talking about people's dreams and goals. Why do we go to such a negative place in order to put people down? Like, I really don't understand. Is it that people are projecting? Is it that people are hating? Is it all of the above? We are too negative as a human race. Why isn't it natural to be positive? I get there's a lot of hate going on out here. But when it comes to myself and my entrepreneurial journey, I've always told people, whatever ideas that you share with me, I'm gonna big them up because there's too much negative things out here. There's too many. So why would I be the 101st thing in the world that's gonna stop you from being who you are? And this is why I bring it back to the children, because If they are the future, why aren't we investing in the future? Because the biggest investment, even when you're talking about yourself and the world, right? Time is something you can't get back. This is why in stocks they tell you dollar cost averaging. They tell you to invest in long periods of time because at some point you'll see something greater. If you're looking for immediate returns, it's not going to be right away. So why isn't the same thing we look at in our children? Why is it that we look for them to be something that maybe we even weren't? You know, how can you strive on something when you weren't something yourself? And this is why we have to take accountability and set the standard. Because only when we're at a certain level can we have the same high level conversations. And it's not about experience. It is about experience, but it's not about the years. It's about what you've been through. That could have been in a year of time versus 20 years. It's really about the severity of what you've been through. And so I vow, whenever I look at my son, no matter if I like his ideas or not, he is the future. Imagine this. Imagine if LeBron's mom, you coming from Akron, Ohio. Imagine if his mom didn't support him and told him, maybe the NBA just ain't for you. We wouldn't have a LeBron. Think how powerful that is, that his mom pushed him and took him to the AAU tournaments and took him to all this stuff. But yet, one bad conversation, unless he was just a strong-minded individual, could have deterred him for being who he really was, who he really is. And that's how a lot of us are. Maybe you should have been an artist, but your mom just didn't support the classes or didn't support the business move or whatever. It could have been anything. Maybe you were meant to be in a band, but people said you wouldn't make money, so you just decided not to. And this is the thing. Who gives a damn about people and their opinion? We all trying to get to a certain level. It's people in their 50s and 60s that still don't know what they're doing. So if that is what I'm looking towards, then that should tell me I shouldn't give a damn about people's opinion. Because there are many people in the world who don't even know their purpose. They just living. Like, how could you just be living? And it's different when you understand what's going on and you like, this is the level that I'm at. I'm comfortable with myself. That's cool. But it's a lot of people out here who don't know. They don't know what they doing. They don't know what they doing. And as human beings, we gotta understand like where we want to go with this. And so when I look at my son, I look at him as a king. Even if I have a peasant mentality, I don't. But I'm just saying, that's how people need to look at it. Because maybe you didn't have the gene. Maybe you not the LeBron. Maybe you not none of that. But your son is, or your daughter is. And that's why I think it's bullshit, because you could want something so bad for somebody else that maybe you just didn't have it. And so many people are diminishing future leaders, future doctors, scientists, lawyers, and everything else. I don't like that. I don't stand for it. I think everybody has something of value to bring to the world. The question is, how do we cultivate it? Well, you start by trial and error. If your kid tells you something, put them in a program. See what they like. Keep pushing them to be the best that they can be. Continuously tell them. And yes, there's going to be hard conversations. But people have to leave out the equation that your expectation of what you want people to be is not who they always going to be. And what you could be doing is blocking that blessing. So you never know how your life go full circle to where you put into that child, now that child can put into you, can pour into you. See, if you want to cultivate a garden, you got to take care of the garden. This is how people literally fall short. And they in these positions because of what they set up prior. So these are just some of the thoughts that I'll be having. And maybe in the comments below, do you feel like you were diminished in some way, maybe by a parent, or maybe it's by a friend, like, you know, anybody? Do you feel like people blocked you from your blessing? And what are you doing to change that? Because it's an important conversation that not a lot of people are talking about. And I think it's particularly, like I said, focused on the children, which is why I'm so heavily devoted on being the best version of myself so that I can coach him to be the best version of himself. That to me is part of the legacy in making sure that he can be the best person that he wants to be. So many of us would be further along if we just said, hey, Dad, I think you could be anything you want to be. I just wanted to let you know that. Or vice versa. Hey, son, I love what you're doing. How can I help? You know? And that's anybody. I'm not, I'm speaking for, this is just a conversation that I had with one of my friends, and I'm just like, yeah, people would be a lot farther with support. And everybody just isn't as fortunate. But how can we change that? We listen to each other. We hear each other out for what people want to be. Everybody isn't a college person. Everybody isn't a trade person. Everybody isn't a business owner. But who gives a damn? What else you got to do? We all trying to get to a higher standard of life. It ain't got to be riches. It ain't got to be none of that. But I know damn things for certain. I don't want to be poor. I want to have more time freedom. I want to have more travel freedom. I want to be able to. Floyd Mayweather said the beautiful part about being who he is that he can wake up and do nothing. Most people don't even know how it feels to have 6 Saturdays and a Sunday. And maybe that isn't you, and that's cool. But if you are one of those people who want to be better, you need to support. You need to get around those who want to see you succeed. Parents, we have to do everything in our power to be able to support these children in the best way we know how, despite what people think. Because you never know how your life may turn around from that little bit of support. So if you got a lot of value out of this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'm here. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.